Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Kobolensky, and as president of the board of the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits, it is my sincere pleasure to welcome all of you here. Tonight is a special night where we come together to acknowledge and celebrate how integral nonprofits are to our lives and communities. Every day, nonprofits bring people together to meet the needs of our communities. They ensure our children have safe places to grow. They provide shelter and food. They offer care for people of all ages. They enrich our lives through the arts, steward our natural resources, and so much more. In this past challenging year, nonprofits have continued to do what they do best, stepping in to do what needs to be done to help people manage through crisis. Tonight, we celebrate the staff, board members, and all other volunteers who dedicate their talents to this important work. And it's also an opportunity for the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits to honor and thank our partners. Tonight's nonprofit impact celebration sponsors include Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare Foundation, Eastern Bank, E&S Insurance Services, Bellwether Community Credit Union, and Hessian and Perret. Please join me in thanking our sponsors for their important support. Now, I am pleased to turn the program over to Reardon, CEO for the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits, who will be our host and guide through the award ceremony. Kathleen?
Of course, I started off muted. That's the way it goes these days. Thank you, Sarah. Can you all hear me? Yes, thank you. Welcome. I want to start off by thanking the many people who submitted nominations for these awards. We received more than 70 nominations, each of them worthy of recognition. And as I read through the nominations, I was in awe of the leadership, compassion, and sheer grit that nonprofits demonstrated over the last year. We all know it's been an extraordinary year, but it's one in which the essential role of nonprofits came to the forefront as many people started to recognize that nonprofits are true heroes in our communities. I want to thank each and every one of you for all that you do to make our community stronger. We're here tonight to celebrate the contributions of our sector and to recognize our 2021 Impact Award honorees. Now on to our honorees. The Nonprofit Impact Award recognizes nonprofit organizations whose performance and exceptional service to the community sets a high standard of quality and demonstrates effective strategy, execution, and impact. I'm pleased to present one of this year's Nonprofit Impact Awards to Crossroads House. For nearly 40 years, Crossroads House has provided vital assistance to families and individuals in the Seacoast who are experiencing homelessness. Their highly skilled staff help transition these families from difficult situations to safer, sounder, and healthier ones. The board of directors works closely with senior staff to create and execute annual goals for programs, fundraising, and financial stability for the organization. Every year, resident and agency outcomes are assessed and plans are made to improve as needed. The team at Crossroads House met the challenges of the pandemic head on, ever focused on keeping their clients safe and continuing their important work to break the cycle of homelessness. Please join me in congratulating Crossroads House as a Nonprofit Impact Award honoree and welcome their Executive Director, Martha Stone, to accept the award.
On behalf of our board of directors and staff, thank you so much for selecting Crossroads House as a recipient of the Nonprofit Impact Award, and congratulations to all the other recipients. It's especially gratifying to receive this recognition after a year when so many nonprofits went above and beyond during the pandemic. For those who may not be familiar with Crossroads House, since 1982, we have been providing emergency shelter to men, women, and children in the Seacoast area who are experiencing homelessness. Last year, we served 364 people, including 62 children from 27 families. During normal times, our work is challenging. No one could have envisioned the new challenges we faced last year as we work to stay open and operational to meet the needs of our residents. I'm so incredibly proud of our staff. They work 24/7 to make sure that we have consistent coverage. In the early days of the pandemic, there was a tremendous amount of uncertainty and fear. The delivery of emergency shelter is not something that can be done remotely, and while some of our staff could work at home, the majority needed to be on site. Our staff recognized the importance of the services we deliver and heroically showed up day after day. Thanks also to our board of directors, our donors, and volunteers, all who stepped up in meaningful ways to help us navigate our way through this uncharted territory. They made sure we had the resources that we needed, including financial support, nutritious meals, and many items that were purchased from our wish list. When the pandemic hit, our shelter was at its max capacity with 120 people, most of whom were living in a congregate setting. Our residents and staff were both very apprehensive about the circumstances. When the governor issued the stay-at-home order, it became abundantly clear that people experiencing homelessness, whether sheltered or unsheltered, were in a dangerous and impossible situation. We knew we couldn't meet CDC spacing guidelines in our dorm rooms, so we worked as quickly as we could to implement a plan to spread people out. This involved renting local motel rooms, which we are still using to this day. People experiencing homelessness often have complex medical issues, and we knew that we needed to do everything possible to protect this vulnerable population. For the first 10 months of the pandemic, we did not have a single case of COVID, and to date, we have only had a handful of cases. Due to our rapid contact tracing and use of the isolation sites that were provided to us by the state, we were able to contain the few cases we had and avoided a major outbreak, which had been one of our greatest fears. Not only did we avoid a mass outbreak, we successfully helped 135 of our residents move to permanent housing in 2020. Our case managers are rock stars, working to identify affordable housing in a rental market where vacancy rates are less than 1% and prices are sky high. Despite the pandemic, we never stopped focusing on our mission to meet the immediate needs of homeless families and individuals and provide them with the tools and guidance they need to successfully return to permanent housing. As we begin to turn the corner on this pandemic and we start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I've been reflecting on some of the silver linings. We now have a healthier shelter environment. We have strengthened partnerships with many of our partner agencies who provided invaluable support. There is a greater awareness of the vulnerability of those experiencing homelessness. The shortage of affordable housing is getting both local and national attention, and new proposed federal investments in housing resources could transform our country and significantly reduce homelessness. We've worked tremendously hard over the past year, and this recognition is truly appreciated. Thank you to the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits for all your support and for recognizing Crossroads House in this way.
Thank you, Martha. That was really extraordinary. I'm pleased to present the second Nonprofit Impact Award to Building Community in New Hampshire, also known as BCNH. BCNH exists to help refugees establish themselves in New Hampshire and is dedicated to building a community where all can flourish. With a strong focus on partnerships and collaboration, BCNH ensures that refugees receive needed services and cultural connections. They employ former refugees to assist newer arrivals with everything from getting a driver's license and job to learning American civics and English and many things in between. When COVID demanded new strategies, BCNH responded with characteristic flexibility. They brought their English classes online and added regular sessions to inform refugees about the pandemic. Case managers distributed PPE and helped laid-off workers navigate the unemployment system. They even launched a new program to help teachers and guidance counselors reconnect with refugee students and families who had lost touch with school during remote learning. Please join me in congratulating Building Community in New Hampshire as a Nonprofit Impact Award honoree and welcome their board chair, Rudra Timsina, to accept the award.
I'm Rudra Timsina and I chair the Board of Directors of Building Community in New Hampshire. I'm honored to accept the Nonprofit Impact Award from the Center for Nonprofits. Thank you very much for this award. I live in Concord with my family, but I'm taping these in Kuwait where I'm working as an electrical engineer for Raytheon Technologies. It's already been a few months now, so I can't wait to get back home. I've been calling New Hampshire home since 2008 after I moved there from a Bhutanese refugee camp in Nepal. I lived in the refugee camp for 17 years. Transition to America was exciting and challenging, particularly for older generations. From the beginning, the Bhutanese refugees worked together to help each other. In 2009, a group formed the Bhutanese Community of New Hampshire, BCNH. We still have few founding members serving as a board of directors. I started working for BCNH as a volunteer and later got a part-time position. We helped hundreds of Bhutanese refugees get jobs, learn English, become citizens, and assisted them with many other post-resettlement needs. As refugees come to the state from other nations, we serve them too, and in 2017, we changed our name to Building Community in New Hampshire. BCNH is still, but now, explicit about serving refugees from all over the world. We now employ case managers who came as refugees from Bhutan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Rohingya region of Myanmar. They do terrific work in Manchester, Nassau, and Concord, as does our Executive Director Rick Minard, the only ethnic New Englander on our team. Our team is much larger than our own staff and board, and we made a point of that in our nomination for the award. The Center for Nonprofit asked us why our organization is uniquely qualified for an award focused on nonprofit impact. We answered that BCNH isn't uniquely qualified. We do amazing work and we do it well, but we succeed because we work closely with similar organizations who are also doing their best to make New Hampshire a multi-ethnic community. We share this honor with Overcomers Refugee Services, the Rohingya Society of Greater Nassau, Ascentria Care Alliance, the International Institute of New England, Victory Women of Vision, the Organization for Refugees and Immigrant Success, Welcoming New Hampshire, and others. Within the sphere of New Hampshire's nonprofit world, BCNH is doing something different, not only trying to serve the immediate needs of individuals, but also modeling the multi-ethnic community New Hampshire is trying to imagine. BCNH staff and board are multiracial, multi-ethnic, and span the religious spectrum. We work together and will be ready to include refugees from other cultures when they arrive. Of course, we'll need your support to make that possible. At the end, I would like to thank again for the Center for Nonprofit for this award. I would also like to give a shout out to our staff, board of directors, and partner organizations for making this happen. And my special thanks to our Executive Director, Rick Minard, for all the work he has been doing. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Bill Brewster, Vice President, New Hampshire Regional Market Leader for Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. We're delighted to be able to present the Healthy Community Impact Award this year to a very deserving organization and one that is very much aligned with Harvard Pilgrim's own mission of building healthy communities. Through the work of Harvard Pilgrim's Foundation, last year alone, we provided more than $1.6 million in grants to not-for-profit organizations across New Hampshire to help increase access to fresh, healthy food for low-income families and communities to help those impacted by the pandemic. We know that eating well is the first step to good health. In addition, at Harvard Pilgrim, service is one of our core values, and we work together to help improve the well-being of our friends and neighbors, a quality our award recipient tonight also embodies. The award recognizes a nonprofit working to increase access to care and improve the well-being of individuals and communities to build a stronger, more vibrant state. I'm so pleased to present this year's Healthy Community Impact Award to Meals on Wheels of Hillsborough County, formerly known as St. Joseph Community Services. When New Hampshire seniors are asked about where they would like to age, the overwhelming response is that they would prefer to remain at home. Meals on Wheels makes it possible for their clients to live healthier and more independent lives at home by providing food, wellness checks, and information about community services that can further enhance their physical and emotional health. These regular check-ins are vital for socially isolated participants and became even more critical during the pandemic, as Meals on Wheels was one of the only in-home programs to continue to provide essential services in the region. The importance of their services is underscored by their clients in a recent survey in which 69% reported Meals on Wheels as their primary source of daily nutrition. And 95% reported feeling safer because of wellness checks performed by their trained drivers. For 43 years, Meals on Wheels of Hillsborough County has helped to combat hunger and isolation for tens of thousands of vulnerable older and disabled adults. And there's no question that their services save lives. Please join me and the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits in congratulating Meals on Wheels of Hillsborough County, this year's recipient of the Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare Healthy Community Impact Award, and welcoming John Araquezo, Executive Director, to accept this award. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I want to say thank you to Harvard Pilgrim for giving us this award. We're humbled and very honored to get such an award. I know that the pandemic has been difficult for everybody, and I'm amazed at how the nonprofit sector really stepped up in this time of need. Anywhere we needed something, we were able to call upon one of our friends or partners at other nonprofits, and they gave us what we needed. We all stuck together, and that's what helped us. That's what helped us get through all of this. So I want to thank all of you. You know, it's interesting, since we started this name change for our organization from St. Joseph Community Services to Meals on Wheels of Hillsborough County, I've been getting all kinds of congratulations for joining Meals on Wheels. I think that is a great indicator of why we had to change our name, so that people knew who we were and what we did. So anyway, thank you again for this award. As always, I want to thank Center for Nonprofits for what they do for us and how they support nonprofits, and of course Harvard Pilgrim for all they do. They've been a great supporter all these years. So thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you, John, and congratulations on your name change and the award. Now we're moving on to the Board Impact Award. The Board Impact Award honors an individual who has served New Hampshire through exemplary nonprofit board service and overall leadership. Our 2021 honoree is Barry Brensinger, who's well known to many of us. Barry has served on an impressive array of boards and has also helped engage new board leaders as a mentor in the Center's Hoffman-Haas Fellowship Program. Most recently, Barry has led efforts for Manchester Proud, bringing the community together to champion student success and create a shared vision for the city's schools. As noted in his nomination, Barry is someone who makes things happen in a quiet, systematic way. He sees something that needs to be done, and he brings people together to get it done, and he does not give up easily. It's always a privilege to work with him because you know you will make a difference. Please join me in congratulating Barry Brensinger as this year's Board Impact Award honoree.
Good evening and welcome. I'm so looking forward to the day when we can all meet together in person again. Huge thanks to the Center for this honor. It's so greatly appreciated, as I appreciate all of the good work that this center does every day to build capacity in New Hampshire's nonprofits. Also a big smile of appreciation to my dear friends, Ellie Cochran, Janine Toussaint, and Diane Fitzpatrick, who nominated me for this award. To my surprise, it was a complete surprise. and one that was made even more special because it was through the kindness of such dear friends. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of collaborating with quite a few of New Hampshire's nonprofits, going back to early days with the Manchester Boys and Girls Club, Child Health Services, Catholic Medical Center, NeighborWorks, New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, and most recently City Year. And you'll note that I said collaborating, not serving. I have never thought of my nonprofit work as service in the sense that it would require sacrifice. Rather than sacrifice, it has been truly rewarding with great satisfaction coming from building things of value together with friends and others in the community. And I have always gotten more back than I've given. That has been universally true in all my years of service. In addition to the fulfillment of having done purposeful work with all of these years, I've also built some lasting and greatly treasured friendships with folks like Diane Fitzpatrick and Syl Dupuy, Catholic Medical Center, Robert Turney, Lou Feldstein, Pon Nidichin, again, just to name a few. Relationships that have shaped my work and my life in so many ways. From teaching me leadership and organizational skills to mission focus and interpersonal skills and on and on. Those relationships are just greatly treasured. My work with nonprofits has also shaped my understanding of community in important ways. It's enabled me to understand at a more nuanced level the life and work in my community, my place in it, and my role in it. I'm reminded of an anecdote, the film As Good as It Gets, which most of you have probably seen, with Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt. And in this particular scene, they're seated at a table having dinner, and Helen is asking Jack to explain to her why she should continue their relationship. And after a few awkward moments of stumbling about trying to find the right words, Jack says, "You make me want to be a better man." And in many respects, that sums up my feelings about my work with nonprofits. It's the work that I've done with so many good people across the state that has made me want to be a better person. My first board experience in New Hampshire was back in 1984 when my then business partner and dear friend Don LaValle suggested that I join the Manchester Boys and Girls Club board. And of course that led to other engagements with other organizations. But at the time, I was a young man with a young family and starting out in business and was quite busy, and it simply seemed to me appropriate to try and carve out some small portion of my time to give back to community, to build relationships with community. What I learned rather quickly was that, in fact, it's New Hampshire's nonprofits where much of the real life of community takes place on a day-to-day basis, and that in order to really understand and experience the heart and soul of this place I call home, it was important to be involved in the work of those organizations. And rather than to carve out some time to integrate that work into my life overall, into work overall, as a result of which the whole of life became more meaningful, more purposeful, and more rewarding. While I have the floor, I can't help but spend a minute or two telling you about my current passion, and that is the work of Manchester Proud. And I'm reminded of a car ride 2 years ago in which I was traveling with my friend Arthur Sullivan on the way to a fundraising ask for Manchester Proud. And as he sat next to me in the front of the car, he turned and looked at me and he said, "You know, Barry, this may be the most important work of my life." And that certainly sums it up for me as well. This has indeed been the most important work of my life. And you might ask why, and I'll answer your question with a question. The question is, where is the one place in our society where we are most likely to change the trajectory of our future? And I would argue that it's in our public schools, because our public schools embody who we are as a people. With all of our strengths and weaknesses, our commonalities and differences, they all go to school with our kids. So imagine in just a generation how we could impact the most formidable challenges of the day: poverty, homelessness, substance misuse, social injustice, health, go down the list, all of the things that so many of you work on every day. Imagine how we could impact them profoundly and collectively if within a single generation, every child graduated from our schools with a fundamentally sound education, basic life skills, and a career pathway. It would indeed change the world, and it's something we could do if we set about to do it. As I close, I want to thank you all again, but also thank a few very special folks in my life. I am at the point in life where I found out if you're really lucky and your kids are smart and good and kind and empathetic and hardworking and all of those things we hope our children will be. If you're lucky enough to have that happen to you, you find you arrive at the point where rather than teaching your kids, you are learning more from them. And that is precisely where I am with my son Cam and my daughter Evelyn, my two heroes. And I'm also reminded every single day, as is everyone in our family, that that would not be the case, that ultimately the source of happiness and well-being for all of us in the Brensinger family is my wife Carol, our Susie, our superhero. So thanks to all of them, and I love them greatly. And thanks to all of you again for a wonderful event and a great honor.
Thanks, Barry. I think I'll go back to that video because there's so many gems there about the nonprofit sector and board service. So thank you for sharing that with us. We'll now move on to our New Hampshire Impact Awards. The New Hampshire Impact Awards honor nonprofit employees who demonstrate exceptional commitment to their organization, their community, the nonprofit sector, and whose leadership has contributed to significant advancements in New Hampshire. I'm pleased to present the first New Hampshire Impact Award to Amy Moore. Amy is Program Director at Ascentria Care Alliance, overseeing the in-home care program, which provides customized services that enable people who qualify for nursing homes to remain in their homes safely. Amy is honored for her dedication to and advocacy for some of New Hampshire's most vulnerable citizens and the staff who serve them. Working in collaboration with colleagues, Amy effectively advocated for much needed increases in Medicaid rates and continues to call for investments in the personal care workforce. Amy's commitment and passion has been evident for years, but even more so through the pandemic. In the words of her nominator, Amy has worked nonstop to ensure that clients received the care they needed and the staff who served them remained as safe as possible. No matter how big the challenge, Amy has remained resilient and positive, a beacon of hope in a very difficult and frightening time. Amy is highly deserving of this award. Please join me in congratulating Amy Moore as a New Hampshire Impact Award honoree and welcome Amy to accept the award.
I want to thank the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits for this award on behalf of Ascentria and Home Care. It is such an honor, and I am so humbled to be receiving this award from an organization that has done so much good for the state of New Hampshire. New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits provides support and partnership for organizations throughout the state like Ascentria. A special thanks to my mom, who is a home care nurse herself, and over the years has inspired so many. I also have to thank my 13-year-old daughter, Adia, who brings me joy and laughter on some of the darkest days. At Ascentria and Home Care, we serve medically vulnerable individuals ages 18 to 104, who with a little assistance can remain in their homes, safe, happy, and healthy, surrounded by their loved ones. While I am so grateful for this recognition and so honored, I have to say that the award goes to the thousands of caregivers throughout New Hampshire who go in and day out, regardless of any pandemic or whatever is going on in their own lives, to help our most vulnerable. Without these people, thousands of Granite Staters would not have the help they need. Over the last year, I have been in awe watching my team, both our care coordinators out in the field, my program manager and trainer, and all of our caregivers throughout the state. They have completely risen to the occasion. From traveling around the state to different distilleries to collect hand sanitizer when it was difficult to get, and traveling all over to disperse that to make sure that everybody had what they needed to be as safe as possible. To people going out and delivering groceries on a Saturday or Sunday or at odd hours to somebody who was battling COVID and couldn't get out of the home. I am every day inspired by each and every one of them, and I wouldn't be here without them. My dream, my true wish, is that someday all of these people get the recognition, the pay, the support, the respect that they deserve for this both physically, emotionally, and mentally difficult, challenging work. Our hope is that all of us get to age to the point where someday we might need this kind of help. And my wish is that all of us look around and see these caregivers, these incredible, selfless people who provide this care and make that possible. So on behalf of all the caregivers around the state, thank you for this honor. I am so proud to work with each and every one of them.
Thank you, Amy. You are such a passionate, committed to the caring workforce and their voices, making sure that they're heard. Thank you so much. We're moving on next to, this is the final award we're presenting this evening, and that is a New Hampshire Impact Award to Sylvia Dow. As the founder and executive director of Visions for Creative Housing Solutions, Sylvia is honored for her leadership in creating an innovative model for supportive housing for adults with developmental disabilities and brain disorders. Visions has developed a unique model where residents live in their own homes, in shared or individual houses or apartments, with access to common areas, a community meal each evening, and access to a wide range of recreational and social opportunities. Every resident at Visions, no matter the nature or severity of their disability, is respected and able to decide who they want to live with and how they spend their days. Thanks to Sylvia's vision, persistence, and hard work, the parents of these residents can find peace of mind knowing their adult children will be safe and cared for. As noted in Sylvia's nomination, for families living in constant fear of what lies ahead for their loved one, this is a life-changing development. A tireless advocate for people with disabilities, Sylvia's effort has helped many families and will impact countless more as the model is replicated in other communities. Please join me in congratulating Sylvia Dow as a New Hampshire Impact Award honoree, and welcome Sylvia.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Dow, Executive Director and Founder of Visions for Creative Housing Solutions. I am so pleased and humbled to accept the Impact Award from the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits. I am a parent of 2 adult daughters with developmental disabilities. And with my husband, David, we worried about what would happen to our 2 children if we could no longer care for them. And with other families, we posed that question. We got together with community members and we formed our board of Visions for Creative Housing 10 years ago. We received our 501c3 in 2014. We opened our doors to 6 residents, and soon that 6 grew to 11 with many other applications, so many people interested in what we were doing around the state, that with our very, very dedicated and supportive board, we did strategic planning and we knew that we needed to expand. Our first expansion was for Lebanon, New Hampshire, and I'm pleased to say that we are opening up our doors in June of this year on Green Street in Lebanon, New Hampshire to 11 additional residents. And even that doesn't fill the need in our community, the Upper Valley in New Hampshire. So we received some property in Hanover, New Hampshire. In 2023, we're going to open up our doors to additional 12 individuals that we will provide supported housing and wraparound services for. This grassroots having a need, posing a question, who can do this, who can help with this, and collaborating with other nonprofits, the Center for Nonprofits, so many talented people in our state, consultants, business people, the community members. We can make great things happen. So I am just so proud to say that we also received a grant to write a toolkit, and in 2019, we put everything that we learned, how to form a nonprofit, how to provide supported housing, and we wrote a toolkit, it's on our website, to help other groups replicate what we're doing. And I'm pleased to say that Our Place in Dover, New Hampshire, the group is starting to form a board, and they're hoping to provide services in the Seacoast area with a Visions-like model. We are so pleased by this, and it couldn't happen without a dedicated board, dedicated staff that provide services for our adults who live at Visions. They all have such meaningful lives. They support each other. They give back to the community. They have productive, meaningful lives. And so pleased to be able to partner with so many other wonderful nonprofits in our state. So thank you so much. I am humbled that a mom could someday be an executive director and win such an award. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sylvia. I think we should just take a moment now to really honor all of everyone. And so I'm going up to gallery view so I can see all the claps and feel the spirit of people who are gathered here tonight. And scrolling through, we've got a few screens of people, but it's really tremendous to see everyone gathered here and observe the chat. This is, evenings like this are part of what give me hope. These have been tough times and there's a lot of things that divide us, but as a nonprofit sector, we bring people together across differences and help people to think about change and create change that we want to see. So, these kinds of evenings are just, fill up my cup, and I'm sure yours as well. I want to really extend my thanks and appreciation to all of our sponsors, to all of our honorees, to all of our members, to all of the boosters of nonprofits out there who recognize the work that we're doing and are part of how we will all get through these days.